my role and my job, and then also as a community member, I live in Fitchburg, I see the world around us changing. And I've been in education for over 40 years, and it's significantly different from it was in 1970 and 1980 and 2000. And to me, the real issue is to keep our community robust and populated by citizens who are engaged and active and alert. We need to help our young people discover that in themselves. I do have a quote I'd like to read from George Kennan, and that is, "If humanity is to have a hopeful future, there is no escape from the preeminent involvement and responsibility of the single human soul." And I think it's that single human soul. Every one of our students has a part, a story to tell, and our role, responsibility, and opportunity is to help them discover that so they can contribute to the community, their own and the community at large. And the way they do that is through change making. I've been inspired by working together with colleagues from this area, the Fitchburg-Leominster area, Mount Wachusett, Fitchburg State University, and Vippen, to really work through questions, internal questions, reflective questions, to think about where's my passion and how can I contribute to this initiative. It's inspiring me to have it take hold with the staff members from our district, and I know I'm sitting with one today, where he's already thinking about changes in curriculum and his approach to his content area to provide students the opportunity to examine themselves as citizens through civics and civic responsibility and engagement. So I'm really inspired by the small steps that are taken, but with the big picture in mind and the ends we hope to accomplish. I think I discovered that human soul piece when I went to college. I'm sure I missed a lot of opportunities along the way. And I think about the way I could have made a difference in my local community, my neighborhood. And it's really, I mean, now we call it activism or social entrepreneurship. But I think that coming to that, having that epiphany as a young adult in college was great. I think it would have been wonderful to have it as a 13-year-old or a 7-year-old, and what kind of difference that may have made. Again, my sphere of influence would have been much smaller, but still possible because everyone has a story. As an assistant superintendent, I have the opportunity to have the big picture and understand the details of how to operationalize it. So I think I've been able to impact my community as a professional community through change making by supporting the teams from the schools, the staff members on the teams, and then meeting and speaking individually with them so that they can integrate this work as they move forward in planning for next year. Kind of on a more detailed personal level, there are a number of initiatives that I've been able to support, if not directly, then indirectly through structural changes. And we had one at the high school where students led a memorial in response to the Parkland situation. And it was a beautiful event, totally led by students, created by students. My role was to help talk to the larger community, the school committee and kind of the institutional bureaucrats about why it was important for students to own that, because it was. So those are the ways I can influence change making in my sphere. There's nothing about my world that's the same. My professional world changes regularly. There are pressures from outside, from the federal government, financial pressures, systems pressures, curriculum. And I think that the challenge is to always find your center and then integrate what your strength is or what the strength of the organization is to make the outcome better for the people we serve. And I think that's the underpinning of social entrepreneurship, and in particular this initiative, Changemaking, is to always examine what is it that's the asset, what's the passion, and so that you don't feel like the world is victimizing you with all the change that happens around you. It can be a cyclone of change, but you have to stay focused, centered, and find that through line to the outcome you want to create. And I think that's one of the big missions around change making is you are the change. Fitchburg and Leominster are rivals in sports. It's over 100 years of a football rivalry on Thanksgiving, and sometimes that sports model and idea can be very powerful in a community. And we've had an opportunity to work through this initiative with our colleagues from Leominster and find significant common ground for thinking about how to make our communities, our collective North Central Mass community, our individual communities, and then our shared opportunities much more productive, effective, humane, and this has been a great project. Well, I think in large part it's been through the training we've all experienced, so that people have found new friends, have found new professional relationships, and it's been an opportunity to share what's working in our districts or where we've stumbled that could help mentor folks from the neighboring district. And I think as year one ends and we look forward to year two, that's the area for growth and opportunity. Some of the protocols that we worked through our own training, we had a chance to spend some time with the principals from Leominster or the other members of their teams, and some great ideas were generated that I think our Fitchburg folks have taken back and tried out, and I hope it's been the reverse as well, that it's been a reciprocal, shared experience. A world where even young children, youngest, kindergarten, first grade, 5- and 6-year-olds, can identify the world that's bigger than they are, the world outside themselves, identify a passion, something that interests them and drives them and engages them, and thinks that they actually have the capabilities and the disposition to impact that in a positive way. I think it would be a world where that shared sense of self-efficacy could create the synergy for huge improvements, and it may be as simple as on the playground or in the lunchroom or in their classroom. It may be to help support their 6-year-old friends to get through hard times or understand that they too have something, an asset to contribute, and I think then the opportunity is boundless. It takes an ecosystem to raise a change maker.